Hi, everybody. It is Barbara Schwartz. How are you this evening? Welcome to our live Q&A. So bear with me. I have everything ready tonight. I'm not as organized as I would have otherwise been, but we just got home not too long ago. There are a few things that I wanted to kind of top up on today. Didn't get to the supermarket, but I think you all understand. But I think you're going to get a really good landscape of kind of go-to items to keep in your kitchen. And part of really what I thought tonight should be about is how do you be prepared? Like, what do you do to kind of keep an AccuWeight friendly kitchen and that's still friendly for the rest of your household? And the reality is best laid plans, like today, didn't get to food shop, didn't get to do the things I planned to do. So things happen unexpectedly and they can throw us for a loop. And what do you do if you're unprepared? So I thought I'd take the opportunity. This is our family kitchen. And what I've done is I've laid out on the counter. I'm going to hold them up one by one because I don't have a better way to do this. Just various items that I keep as stock, handhold, normal household items, so that on a day-to-day basis, should I need them, they're here. They're often part of recipes that are planned, but if I do need them in another capacity or unexpectedly, they are here. So I'm going to start with the items from the freezer because I'd like to get them back into the freezer. So to start with, I always keep some Steam Fresh. I use the Steam Fresh brand. I'm big on Brussels sprouts. I usually also keep some broccoli or broccoli cauliflower florets. These are quick, throw them in the microwave, and even if I unexpectedly need to take food to work with me. And then usually what I do is, let's look in the magic counter. I just use a little bit of garlic powder and typically some Himalayan salt. So I will go over all the different spices and seasonings that I keep in my kitchen counter. Or cabinet in my spice rack. But so to start with, again, I'm a big Brussels sprouts person, so I love just steaming up some Brussels and adding just some garlic and some Himalayan salt, and I am good to go. And this is a 10.8 ounce bag, so it's very filling. It's not all my veggies for the day, but it's going to give me a nice meal. And again, I can even do 2 of these and still have something else. So to start with, I keep Steam Fresh. Again, personally, I keep the Brussels. I usually do some broccoli, sometimes broccoli cauliflower mixes. I also keep, so here, if I'm going to be around at home, because this is not, oh, this one is a Seaman bag. This one is a mix. I don't know if you can see, trying to get it in the light. There we go. There you go, spring vegetable mix. And this one has broccoli, yellow squash, green beans, carrots, onion, and red pepper. Again, so it gives me a little bit of a mix. Then I keep around a stir-fry blend, something I can quickly saute up in a pan if I feel like, okay, great. I don't always want to use the microwave. I prefer not to. We know that it's healthier to fresh cook things, but sometimes that's not a choice. But this one is a stir-fry blend of broccoli, carrots, green beans, onions, red peppers, and mushrooms, right? Yum. And often I'll do something like that. Again, I love fresh cauliflower rice. That's not always possible. So I always keep around a case of cauliflower rice. This one is a case that I bought from Costco. So what I love is 6 chew a case. And we're all set. I'm going to just step off camera for a second, throw these things in the freezer, and I will be right back. I'm going to show you some more freezables that I keep around. So there's 3 more things that I keep in my freezer. One is always I keep some kind of, here we go, veggie noodles. In this case, it's frozen butternut squash. So again, quick, I can add them to that other free, stir fry if I want to feel like I've got a pasta meal. And I always keep, I'm a big butternut squash person, so this is, here we go, organic butternut squash in cubes. So if I want to throw together even just a quick stir fry, if I want to make a quick soup, I always keep these. So these are some things that I keep as standard in my freezer. Again, just going to step off camera for a second, put those away so they don't defrost. One last thing that I do keep, and it's more recent because I've only started recently making these. Usually I'll buy a pre-made one, is I just posted a veggie soup that I threw together. So I had made a giant vat of, it came out to 3 quarts of soup. So what's great is I could have some fresh, and then I put some in the freezer. And now if I'm looking for something hearty, I can defrost it in the microwave, or if I remember the night before, I can take it out to defrost it. And I've got a quick heatable soup. Again, it's already made, so I can stick it in a saucepan and reheat it. Or again, if I'm really on the run, I can throw it in the microwave, but now I've got a nice hearty soup, and it's homemade, and nothing beats homemade, right? So that's the last thing from the freezer. So I'm just going to throw that in the freezer. Everything else can stay out with us. Okay, so let's talk about refrigerator items. Oh, actually, one last thing that I keep in the freezer. This is actually a whole 32-ounce container of, let's see the lighting, there we go, plain whole milk yogurt. I keep a 32-ounce tub so that when I'm ready to do things like make some yogurt recipes, if I've got a bunch of milk days coming up. Now, sometimes I break it up into smaller containers before I freeze it, but often I keep a big 32-ounce tub in the freezer. It'll last for quite a while, and when I know I want to use it, I just move it into the fridge the day before, and then it's ready to go the next day. So that's also something that I always keep as a just in case in the freezer. Again, I'm going to put that back in now so that it doesn't start defrosting on me. Okay, so then there's the one obvious refrigerator item. I'm lactose intolerant. Big tub of Lactaid whole milk. Now, when I can, I get organic lactose-free, but sometimes the supermarket doesn't have it, and I just go for Lactaid brand, and my whole family is lactose intolerant, so that's what we use in this house. We don't use low-fat and skim even when we're not on Activate. We use less milk when we're not doing a milk day. But again, my daughter, she loves milk and dairy, and the rest of us, we love lots of milk in our coffee, so that's always in our fridge. And we're lucky enough to have a fridge in our garage, so we always have a spare half-gallon in the refrigerator in the garage, so that should we happen to use up the milk, there's always more milk in the fridge. So we are never left unawares. We're never left, if one of us is doing a milk day, again, look, we're the Schwartz household, so yes, we're all Accuators other than my daughter. We're all Accuvate graduates, and on occasion when we need it, all of us will do a milk day. Not necessarily together, but all of us have done milk days. We all know what it means, and we also know what it means when you open your fridge counting on milk, not to have it there, because we might not have communicated with each other that we're planning a milk day. We might just wake up in the morning and go, ooh, I'm really busy today. It would make a great milk day and offset that crazy weekend that I just had. So we always do keep extra milk in the house so that should somebody finish it, nobody else is left without it. So that's a great tip as well. I am a huge fan of guacamole. Now, when I can, I love to make fresh, but let's be honest. What I hear from all of you, and it's certainly the case in my life, when do I have the time? It is so rare. Now, the big thing on getting packaged guacamole is you got to make sure, as with all other items, that there is no vinegar in it, right? So we need to be vinegar free. What was really exciting, I was in Costco yesterday, and I found out that the Kirkland organic chunky guacamole, and what I loved is little individual cups. I don't know if you can kind of see at the bottom, they say 2.5 ounce cups. That is so perfect for dipping, but it also is great as a portable salad dressing. So again, I love getting a chopped salad. I mean, to this day, when I'm not on Accuvate, I can have vinegar, I can have salad dressing, but I got to tell you, I'm so hooked on guacamole on top of my salad that I love these little grab-and-go cups. I can take it with me, take it to work. I can even get a fresh salad locally or bring salad with me, and when I'm ready, just pop open the cup, dump it on top, and it's measured out, so I know it's 2.5 ounces. What's nice is in the smaller cups, you're going to eat the whole thing, and we know with avocado, once it's hit the air, it's going to start turning brown. So you're not going to have that issue with something like this. So I was really excited to find this. I've seen the Sabra brands sometimes have small cups, but it's a total of 4, and it was a little more pricey. So I was really excited to find this at Costco. So again, I'm just going to put these items into the fridge so they don't start to spoil, and I will be right back. So what other things do you keep on hand? As I mentioned, I didn't get to go to the grocery store today as planned, but usually to go with the guacamole and just other things, I usually keep, and even for my daughter's lunchbox, I usually get the little mini peppers. They're easy to cut up. This way they come in red, yellow, orange. I love a rainbow. They always say eat your colors. You're getting different nutrients with different colors and different, support to your body, so different vitamins and minerals. And, who doesn't love something that's colorful on their plate? So I love those little mini peppers. Are great for my daughter's lunchbox. They're great in a salad. I cut them up when I made the vegetable soup, and I love cutting them up in kind of slightly bigger pieces to use. I cut them kind of more like chip to dip in my guacamole. So they're very versatile. I'm out of them, or I would have shown you, as I mentioned, sorry, didn't make it to the grocery store, but I think you all know what I'm talking about. Other thing I typically keep in is bags of the petite carrot sticks. And I love the rainbow ones. So I typically keep the petite carrots. I will typically spend a little extra money and get the ones that are in the little packages because they're grab and go. They're already measured out as a serving. Great to throw into my daughter's lunchbox. Again, great for me to grab and go with those little small containers of guacamole. And it just means that if I'm unexpectedly in a rush, but I'm on a veggie day, I always have something in my fridge that's grab and go that I'm going to enjoy. I'm not going to feel deprived, and I can genuinely enjoy, but so can the rest of the family. So that is, for me, a standard in our household. So some other things now, let's get into, still fridge, a couple more things that are always in our fridge. Real lemon juice. As you can see, it is a very used bottle. So we keep the real lemon juice as well as real lime. These came right out of our fridge. Again, you hear us talk about it all the time, but these are things we actually live with. My dad loves to take a Diet Coke and add some lime. I'm a lime girl, so again, if I'm making guacamole or I want to pep up some seltzer, I'll add a tiny splash of lime and give it some flavor. We use real lemon for everything from, again, making AccuWeight cheese, making our own lemonade, using it in recipes. And that's why you can see this bottle, giant bottle, is more than halfway done. And we have a spare in our pantry. Because we use these so much, there's always, again, the real lime, not as much, that's why it's a smaller bottle, but we use both, just real lime, smaller quantity. We always have a backup bottle in the pantry because this is something that doesn't spoil for a long period of time, but if we're counting on it, we're going to be really disappointed if it's not available for us. So it is something that we always keep in the fridge, and we always keep spares of. So other things that are kept in the pantry, and these can be used for various recipes, and again, they don't go bad very quickly, so you can keep them around for a while, but it's always good to know. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have a couple hours Sunday afternoon and I can cook. What should I make? You're not investing additional time necessarily browsing around the supermarket because a lot of the ingredients that you need are right in the house. So one of the things we keep in the house is always a box of vegetable broth. It's always at the ready. And again, they're good for a pretty long time in the fridge. In the cabinet. They usually have pretty decent extended dates. And again, easy to make soup recipes. There's so many on the website. So it's just a matter of being creative. And remember, with vegetable broth, the first 8 ounces is free. Doesn't count towards your veggies for the day. And then after that, every 2 ounces counts as 1 ounce of veggies. So if you're using 16 ounces in a soup, broth actually only counts as 4 ounces out of your total 16. But for example, I used in the vegetable soup recipe, in the frozen vegetable broth that you saw, I used 1 box, which is 32 ounces, but I made 6 servings. So it was a freebie. So that's one thing that is always in my cabinet. Another is some tomato sauce. I love to saute vegetables, so whatever fresh veggies I've got. I'm a big spinach person, so I typically keep some frozen spinach, but I really like fresh spinach. So several times a week, I pop into the store and very quickly pick up some fresh baby spinach. So we keep a couple of things in the house. This is Wegmans Italian Classics Grandma's Pomodoro Sauce. Now this is sugar-free. I'll read you the ingredients. Tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, citric acid. Again, citric acid is a preservative, but it's coming from your citrus fruits. So it's a preservative, but it's not vinegar. Water, onion puree, extra virgin olive oil, salt, roasted garlic, and basil. So all legal ingredients, but if I want something that's already seasoned a bit, I'll use something like this. If I've got some time and I'm going to season up a sauce myself, I keep some plain tomato sauce. You can get the Hunt's brand, your local store brand. Again, you can see we use Wegmans Organic. So I keep this in the house too for any simple recipe, but if I have time to do my own seasoning, or I'm not sure what seasonings will go with certain vegetables, I'll use something plain like this. So again, it's in a can, it's good for a while, so it's nice to have some stuff in the cabinet that it has got some shelf life, so that, again, when unplanned, you can go into your cabinet and you've got something at the ready for you. A couple of other favorites you hear me talking about all the time is I've always got some palmini linguine, and the new fave, I promised the recipe. I know I posted a teaser. Photo of my Acuvate lasagna. So these are the palmini products, and I always keep them in the house, again, with some of the sauce, sauteing up any veggies, and you've got a terrific dish with the linguine. And I'm going to post my first attempt at lasagna, and some of you were even, that I've shared my recipe with, that I've met with in the office, had great ideas. Again, mushrooms, I used eggplant, but mushrooms have a very meaty taste if you like a meaty lasagna. I saw a vegan show, cooking show, that was using like shredded zucchini, kind of like it was cheese. And they said it kind of gave the consistency for tacos of having kind of like a cheese. So I'm wondering if that might work in a very interesting way on lasagna. As I mentioned already, I always keep some packaged cauliflower rice. Again, I always prefer the fresh, but in a pinch, if I'm unprepared, it's great to grab and go. And, you know, this I can make in a saute pan, or I can make it in the microwave in 90 seconds. So this is the Costco brand. Again, the nice part is very reasonably priced. And I get 6 pouches that are kept in, they're always in the pantry. Going back to the fridge for a minute, Zevia. We're really big fans. We do like soda, but we're really focused on going the all-natural route. I will admit, you know, like my dad loves his Diet Coke. We're doing the best to get as much of the artificial sweetener out of our household. But Zevia is a favorite. So this is my favorite, black cherry. This one is my daughter's favorite, ginger ale. And my dad just finished, and again, I didn't make it to the store. He loves cherry cola, and they came out with a cherry cola, so he's been really happy. So those are the 3 flavors we keep in our house. And Zevia, I believe, has 10 or 12 flavors now. They're really expanding their line. It's all natural, 0-calorie soda that is made with stevia. So what's interesting is it's sweet like soda. It's not savory like diet soda, because it is just 0-calorie soda. It's not diet soda. It just happens to be 0 calorie. And we've really, really been enjoying that as a family. So, okay, so now let's think spice rack and seasoning cabinet. So first, you all hear very often for thickening, xanthan gum. Xanthan gum is a plant-based item. It has no flavor at all. It is 0 calories. It is all natural. Hi, Alicia, welcome. It's all natural, and it is a thickening agent. So think, I want to make a salad dressing, but what I have in my, you know, I'm going to puree a cucumber. Well, you puree a cucumber, you're kind of getting cucumber juice. Add a pinch of xanthan gum, and you've got something that pours like salad dressing. You know, you're making the Anytime chocolate pudding. Add cocoa, sweetener, pinch of salt, some vanilla extract and water, and what are you going to get? Chocolate water. Add some xanthan gum, and you're going to get pudding, right? So this is what lets things coagulate. It gives things texture. I happen to love the Now brand because it comes in a container with a pop top. Oops, you can see, it's very powdery. I find that this actually says, look, 1/4 teaspoon is a serving, and this bottle has 213 servings. The big thing with xanthan gum is you got to keep it dry. If it gets wet, it's going to start to clump. So I just find that instead of worrying about a plastic bag being sealed, well, you know this is going to seal easily. I think the bottle goes for about $8 on Amazon. And again, I've got about 200 servings in here. So this will last quite a while. But it is, again, a staple in an AccuWeight fridge or in an AccuWeight kitchen. We do talk about exercise, blood sugar balance. Again, not as a regular sweetener, but many people are. We know that exercise is not required, but it is certainly encouraged. And in a way, really what we recommend when you look at the exercise protocol is that we're creating the natural version of Gatorade, right? So we're using some honey in place of sugar because it won't spike your blood sugar. It'll kind of go gently up and plateau out and put a nice steady floor under your blood sugar. Now, I'm a big fan of raw honey, so you'll see I have raw, unprocessed honey. I don't know if any of you have ever seen or experienced it before, but it is, I don't know if we can see here, it is a solid. Let me grab a spoon so I can show you because many people haven't ever seen raw honey before. Let me grab a little spoon. But just to show you, I can actually, it'll stay on the spoon, right? So it's a little thicker. Again, it's unprocessed. It has a lot of health properties. And if you can get local honey, they say that local honey can actually help you build immunity to some of the things that are allergens to you. It can help your body adapt to local allergens because, again, the bees are pollinating local flora and fauna that might aggravate your senses. So if you're somebody who suffers from allergies, there's a lot of benefit to getting local raw honey. We also, as a family, keep various flavored honeys. This one is ginger and goji berry. Again, these are different things that have some health benefits and it has a bit of kick to it. So as well as sweet, you're getting something a little savory. So we like that sometimes in a cup of tea. And then we've got your regular old, kind of as we say, honey bear, clover honey. That's the regular squeeze bottle. Because the other way we use honey is, again, it's cold and flu season. As we push things away, somebody's feeling a bit of a sore throat. One of the alternative health remedies that I was taught when I was in school for Oriental medicine was take a teaspoon of honey, sprinkle with cayenne pepper, and drizzle some lemon juice. So I always have some ground cayenne in the house, and I will use the raw honey, sprinkle some of the cayenne, and then I drizzle over a little bit of that real lemon brand lemon juice. And there you go. I've got a natural. Now, if you have strep throat, that is not something that's going to work for you. But if you just have a sore throat related to something with your sinuses or something that is not strep, honey, cayenne, and lemon juice is going to help battle that sore throat. You do that kind of, I'd say, 3 to 4 times a day. And usually within 24 to 48 hours, you notice a significant difference, if not that the sore throat is gone. Again, not for strep. Strep does need antibiotics. Another staple in our house, just bought because we finished what was here, so you'll see it's unopened, is Bragg's Liquid Aminos. Again, this is a different derivative of soy. It tastes very similar to soy sauce, so we use this a lot in cooking and for dipping, and we use it with the cauliflower rice, with different sautés when we want something with an Asian flair. And it's the essential amino acids that our body needs but isn't producing in a liquid form. So what's great is a healthy version of soy. And to my knowledge, I believe this, yep, it's gluten-free. So there's no wheat component to it, as many soy sauce does have. So Bragg's Liquid Aminos is allowed on AccuWeight at any day, any time. And it's also, we do work with a lot of people who are breast cancer survivors. Many breast cancer survivors, because soy does have estrogen-like properties, and many breast cancers are estrogen driven. This is on the list of safe products to use. So we do get that question a lot. Can I use it being it's a soy derivative? We've been told by oncologists and breast cancer survivors that we know, we're told by their oncologists this is the one thing they can use that is soy derived. So that is safe to use, and it is gluten-free. So let's get into some seasonings that are staples in our cabinet. So number one, we are big users of, where is it? Here it is, Himalayan salt. Himalayan pink salt has a lot of health properties. It is a healthier salt, and a lot of people like sea salt. That's good too. Any salt you like is fine, but also salt, having an adequate amount of sodium in our body is important. Sodium is an electrolyte. So we use pink salt a lot, and you'll see I think I got to buy a new one soon. So anyway, so you'll find in most recipes I have, if not anything else, at minimum a sprinkle of some Himalayan salt. My other go-to, you hear me using this all the time, I am not much of a cook. I'm learning, and recently I've gotten a little more creative here in the kitchen, and I'm excited about that. But the reality is it's not natural for me. It's not an instinct. Some people are natural born cooks. I am not. And I was blessed to spend earlier time in my career traveling around the world and living in hotels. So in my younger years, I didn't have a lot of time cooking in a kitchen. So I don't necessarily have a sense of what herb or spice is going to go great with certain vegetables, and what way to lean. So when in doubt, I go to my standard, which is Bragg's Organic Sprinkle. This has 24 herbs and spices seasoning. There you go. So again, another Bragg's product to go with the Bragg's liquid aminos. I use the Organic Sprinkle. It seems to go with everything. So even when I'm not an AccuEat, I'm making an omelet, this is what's in it. If I'm making chicken, I'm making fish. This gets sprinkled on just about everything in our household, but it has the flavors of everything. So kind of whatever seems to match that food seems to get highlighted in your mouth. So I like easy, simple, and again, stock standard in our kitchen. Other things that we use, so again, if I'm going to use that plain tomato sauce, I've got some fresh oregano. We do have some fresh basil. I don't know what I did with it. I always keep some chopped onion, that's dried chopped onion, and as I pointed out, garlic powder. So these are things that are stock standard in our kitchen. And as I showed you before, cayenne and some cinnamon. One of my favorites on cinnamon. On milk days, I love vanilla and cinnamon together. I think it makes a great yogurt. It makes a great frozen yogurt. I love to make hot vanilla cinnamon milk instead of hot chocolate all the time. So it's a nice change of pace on occasion. So I'm big on always having vanilla extract. I use a higher end vanilla. It's a little more expensive, and it says organic premium quality pure vanilla extract. So this is, what's it called? Morton and Bassett. That's my standard go-to. Look, I've smelled the aroma of different ones. This one always makes me go, So this is a standard in my cabinet. I also tend to keep peppermint extract. I love chocolate and peppermint together. Again, a dab of peppermint under your nose when you are cooking will help curb some cravings. And I also always keep with a microplaner some fresh cinnamon sticks and some fresh nutmeg. So if I'm doing something like with the butternut squash, if I want to make soup, and again, I've got the vegetable stock, I've got the frozen butternut squash cubes, I can stick those on the stove, use a microplaner with some fresh nutmeg and cinnamon, and I've made a really, really simple soup that is yummy. Other things, they're kind of at that top shelf. I keep them out of my daughter's reach, is the unsweetened cocoa. I usually keep both cacao powder if I want something a little more savory, as well as the Ghirardelli unsweetened cocoa. And we keep a lot of different sweeteners in this household. Again, we're an AccuWeight family, so we're always experimenting. I didn't take it out, so I'm going to step off camera for a minute and just show you some of the things that are in our cabinet. So I'm going to keep talking, but let me show you some of the things that we keep in our cabinet, just because we experiment. And again, people are always asking me, what do you keep? So I'm going to grab a couple of things straight off the shelf, so you can see I'm coming straight off the shelf. So right off the bat, Swerve. And I actually just bought the brown sugar and the baking confectioner's sweetener. They're the first ones I've seen that are actually 0 calorie. So can be used any day, anytime, in an unlimited basis. I haven't tried them yet, but I've been enjoying them as a sweetener. Again, this is erythritol based, all natural sweetener, 0 calories. So this one's called Swerve. Many of you have come across monk fruit sweetener. This is Lakanto. This is the golden. It's a little more like a mapley flavor. They also have the white, which is more sugary. We have monk fruit in the raw, so as compared to the other one, which is a bag of powder, this is packets ready to go. We use Truvia. So these again are packets. And just because you never know also what you're thickening or what you're going to play around with. We're getting ready to play around with some recipes. I've got some unflavored gel dessert. Now, we as a family keep kosher, so it's not often that I can find unsweetened, unflavored gelatin. So I was really psyched to come across this. So we're going to do some experimenting with some new recipes. But again, it's something as a general rule, I'll keep some. I use usually the Simply Delish sugar-free, all-natural Jell-O, so that I've got something available so I can make a quick treat. I'm big in the evenings on having some flavored teas. So these are just some examples of my favorites: cranberry apple, and I'm a berry girl, so the Wild Berry Zinger. These are 2 herbal, caffeine-free, great evening teas. They make me happy, so these are always in the house, but we've got a whole cabinet full of variety of tea, because the more we drink, the more we enjoy it. And it's one of the things that keeps me from eating at night, is having a variety of flavor. So I often will have cup of tea, cup of tea, cup of tea, but I get bored. So by changing up the flavors, like this cranberry apple is more savory, and the Wild Berry Zinger is sweeter. And I find that I mix and match these different sweeteners that I showed you, because sometimes one will really bring out the flavor of the tea that I'm drinking more than another. And so I'll experiment with all these different sweeteners that we keep in the house, and all of a sudden I'll be like, oh man, when I put like the Lakanto in the berry tea, the flavors, woof. But I don't like the Lakanto very much in the cranberry apple. Like, no, they don't go together. For whatever reason, they don't complement each other. But the Swerve tastes great in that. So I'll experiment, and, sometimes I'll write them down. But I usually have a pretty good mental list of which ones work with which for me. We all have different personal tastes, so it's a matter of a small investment. But it's something that once you figure it out, can serve you for years to come. So, on that note, I've kind of emptied out a lot of, I can imagine, there's a lot more in our cabinets. There are many more seasonings and herbs and spices and things. But these are the standards that me, who, again, not a big cook, but somebody who is committed to, again, give or take a little blip on the screen, I've been maintaining my weight loss over 15 years. And I eat normally, but I also like clean eating, but I do love my pizza too. And so if I'm going to have pizza one night with my daughter, the next night I'm going to want clean eating to offset it. And that's not dieting, that's just sensible. So having these things in my household for a day-to-day basis makes sure that I can be true to me. And so it's just a matter of really developing for yourself a sense of what you like and what those staples are. Keep them around and keep those spares. Like I said, we always have an extra container of milk in the fridge, so if somebody finishes it, we're not left without. I keep a 32-ounce container of yogurt frozen in the freezer, so I always have yogurt if I need it. I keep the butternut squash. I keep the steamer bags in the freezer so that if I ever don't have something and I need something on the run, I'm always prepared. I keep those things like those small servings of guacamole. So there's a lot of really simple things you can do. It's just a matter of creating a habit. And as we know, change takes time and change takes some effort. But once you've been doing something, 3 weeks is not a lot of time. It only takes 21 days of intentional repeated behavior to form a new habit. What do you want your kitchen to look like? What do you want your shopping list to look like? What are your stock standards? Literally by the end of the month, you can have started laying a foundation of something new with some new habits that really are going to serve you for a lifetime, but aren't that hard to go from kind of column A to column B. So that is it for this evening. Thank you for joining me this evening. So I was a little less prepared than I wanted to be, but I think we've covered a really good landscape. And I thank you again for joining me, and I will see you again next Monday night. Keep those questions coming during the week. We're here to help. Best way to reach out, if you've got my cell phone, feel free to text me. We'll always get you somebody from our team answering. And on our website, that little live chat button, those are not outsourced people, those are consultants. So we're here to help, we're here to answer your questions, and we're here to help you cross your finish line. And let's get started today and set you on the path to your goals. Have a good night, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.